Look at us.
Yeah.
Here, do this.
How's 50 of us?
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the MiscELENAeous podcast. I'm your host, Elena. It'd be weird if I wasn't. And this week is very exciting because we have a special guest who I've been saving, literally just holding in my back pocket, Alicia Mccarvell. And the crowd goes wild.
Woo!
Woo, 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 woo,
I'm so
woo,
excited to be
woo.
here.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. It's so funny because there's been like a couple times where you're like, invite me on your podcast. And I'm like, no, not yet. Not yet. Not yet.
The last time when you announced like your rebranding, and I was like, what the fuck? Why haven't you asked me to be on the podcast yet? I was like, I'm offended.
And you should have been, but you also should not have been because really, and I don't think they're listening, but the people that have been on the podcast
Poor people.
up until now, they should probably be offended.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Not like all of them, like the old school when Elena first started back four years ago. We were like, woo, we're doing stuff. And then, you know, the pandemic happened and then my podcast kind of just started getting worse. And then I increasingly got like more mentally ill and I just like wasn't doing my best work. So
I'm excited to just be in person.
Yeah, and that's
Like
the other thing.
It makes
is
a big difference.
It's more fun to have people in person. And now that I've got this like extremely professional setup here.
You're so cool.
I'm really cool,
You're
right?
so cool.
Yeah. Do you feel cool?
I
though?
feel so cool.
Yeah. It's just tough because all I want to do is look at myself.
I know, just like watch.
Like, look how pretty we are.
We're so cute.
Guys, if you don't know how beautiful we are, or if for whatever reason you don't believe us, you can actually watch us on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, for free.
Yeah, for free. And it's what's great is it's free for you, but like makes me money.
We love that.
It's a win-win.
We love that.
Hopefully it'll make me money. I think it makes me nothing. How do you make money on YouTube? Are you a YouTuber?
I'm not a YouTuber, but I have a lot of followers on YouTube, but we don't post anything. And you can monetize it eventually after a certain period of like watch hours and time.
Yeah, and
so
that's
you will
like
be able to eventually.
That's like the good social
That's
media
the goal.
money.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys heard that, but watch me on fucking YouTube.
Please and thank you.
I mean, please, if you don't mind.
That would be great.
See, I need you here so that when I'm mean, you can be
Please.
sweet. Please, guys.
Please and thank you. That's the Canadian in me.
I know. Honestly, Texans are known for being just as friendly, right?
Oh, yeah.
Is that why your husband basically wants to be a cowboy?
Probably from this experience. Like we had the first time we were here, you took us out.
I did.
Introduced us to some cowboys, introduced us to like a bar where you two-step but also do the stanky leg, but then also, like swing dance with a partner. And it was just like it was outrageous for both of us. It was very cool. And I think we just had such a good time because we learn the majority of the stuff that we learn about the United States through the news. And it's never the good things. And we had some really cool conversations with the people that like you introduced us to just about like things like gun control and like the stereotypical things that people talk about when it comes to Texas. And it was just, we had like such respectful, kindful conversations that were like very eye-opening for us. And, you know, I think as Canadians, we get like that, like, oh, you must be against guns. Like, yeah, I was like, well, I just don't need one. Like, I live in Canada. Like, that's not a thing that, like, but like, I think there needs to be more gun control. But like, I don't know what it's like to live in a state or a space where you feel like you need that for your safety. Like, and I don't begrudge people that, but we had such good respectful, kind conversations. And it was like really eye-opening to what I thought Texas was going to be like to what it truly was. And we were in Austin, Dallas, here. We haven't been to Houston, but everybody's like, where have you,
I'm just kidding.
Everyone's like, where have you eaten? Who have you met? Like, what can we show you? And like, that's very close to like home for us. Like Nova Scotia is very much like that. Like people are like excited and proud of where they live. And it's very similar here.
Yeah. No, I love it. I'm such a whore for Fort Worth and Texas in general. I think it's the coolest place in the world. And what's fun for me is that I grew up in this really like sheltered small place. Like Fort Worth is a big city, but I didn't go anywhere else. I grew up in Fort Worth. I went to the same Christian school my whole life. I went to college in West Texas, still very small community. And now my life is so vast. I have really good, most of my very close friends are not in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
They're not even in Texas. They're all across the US and Canada. I've even made some friends over in Europe now. And everybody has this idea of what Texas is, specifically what Fort Worth is. And it's my favorite thing in the world to have friends come to Fort Worth and me get to like show them around and do actual Fort Worth. And people are like, it's like what I thought it was. Like, yeah, there's a police officer on a cop and like, guys.
Another cop on a cop.
Oh,
Okay,
guys,
all right.
Guys, what the fuck?
What do you mean?
I mean, yeah, there's a cop on a horse, a police officer on a horse. Like people are like, oh, all your cops just ride horses. You ride your horse to school. Like, yeah, I mean, sometimes.
We get that in Canada though.
But,
Our
like-
RCMP are on horses.
Right. And don't you have the hat? There's like a whole hat
there's
thing
like a
about
full
it.
uniform. Yeah,
Yeah.
very not logical to what the job requirement is, but yes.
But dope. Like,
Yes,
looks
very
so
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
So I think like people think that we're just this like really stereotypically like redneck country, just, I don't know, uncultured. And everybody here is actually just like so awesome. And there's so much more to this place.
yeah,
And
like I definitely had this idea in my head that like Texas was white, predominantly white, and like
Mhm.
that is not
not
been
true
the case whatsoever.
at all.
And not at all, which I think was a really big eye opener for me for like what we learn about and like what we're actually being taught about the states in general, and you
Like
know
what the media shows us, what
Yes.
social media
and
shows
it was
us.
just genuinely really cool. Like you think cowboy, you think like 40-year-old white man, but that's not like that's
Like, who did you meet? You met Anthony.
I met Anthony. I met Greg.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like we were in the bar, and like I think me, you, Scott, and like maybe two other people were the only white people within the bar. And then
Yeah.
we're doing this two-step, which I have only ever associated, which is like obviously my bias, with like two-stepping like old white people. And it's like, no, this is way fucking cooler. Like
Yeah.
they were like teaching us how to like do the steps, and then like you're swing dancing with like strangers in like the
Uh-huh.
bar. And I'm like, this is not how I anticipated. It was just way cooler and way more like the food is better. Like just everything is better. Yeah. We have thoroughly enjoyed our time here, and it has like really opened my eyes to like even the people who we have had borderline shitty conversations with when it comes to like obviously different political views. Like for the most part, I've been pretty respectful to us. Like
Yeah.
to realize it's not a conversation that I'm gonna have like right now in the space. Like I'm here to
Yeah.
enjoy myself. So for the most part, like it's been really eye opening for both of us, and like Scott loves it here. So
Oh, he is a cowboy at this point. Like it's a full transformation.
yeah,
And I love that you brought up Hookie in that night, and us remembering meeting Anthony. Anthony is one of my oldest friends. I've known him since like I don't know, middle of college-ish, I guess. And I went to a lacrosse game last weekend or weekend before, and a lot of the guys that play lacrosse come down and play from Canada.
okay,
So they're not like, they don't live here. They come down and play and kind of
Yeah.
leave. A few do. So we went out to this bar in Fort Worth that's kind of similar. It has some country dancing and then some, like rap or hip hop stuff. And I was teaching one of these Canadians how to two-step, and Anthony was standing on the side of the dance floor, and he like tapped me, and I was like, oh my God, hey. And like, you have to imagine that me and this like 21-year-old Canadian man
yeah,
not dancing well at all. Just really so bad, because he does not know what he's doing.
but you're trying.
But we're trying.
Yeah.
And then Anthony grabs me, and he's like a cowboy. He is a true black Texan cowboy, and he just starts spinning me all around and
Yeah.
backflipping and this, that, and whatever. And all those Canadians are like, what?
That was us. That was genuinely us the first time we were in that bar. I was like, what the heck is happening right now? Like, it was definitely like, culture shock's probably the best way to describe it, because it's genuinely not what we were taught that it looks like, and then you're in this space and you're just like, I know nothing. Like, I know nothing about,
My
like,
whole life is a lie.
genuinely, like, I know nothing about what it's like to grow up here, and, like, we had such an incredible conversation with Anthony, and Greg just about, like, what it was like to grow up, like, just such a genuinely, like, eye-opening conversation to be like, we don't learn this. Like, you can't really learn, and, like, that was a big eye-opener for us when we've been traveling, is, like, to talk to as many people as we can, to have conversations with people when we're in Ubers and stuff like that, and get to know people, because those are the people that are gonna tell you about their state and what they're proud of and where to, like, eat and, like, where to go and what bars to go into. Like, it's cool to research it, but, like, coming here was the first time that we were like, we literally know nothing, and, like, we need to start asking
Yeah.
people, and, like,
I'll talk to people on an airplane and they're coming in and they're like, yeah, it's my first time here. And I'm like, well, what are your plans? And they're like, well, I'm not really sure. And I'm like, okay, here's my phone number.
Yeah.
If you like need any suggestions, if you have like an afternoon and you're like not sure, like let me know.
Yeah.
I'm happy to help. I want you to have the best time of your life.
Yeah. And it's like that. Yeah. I just don't think that doesn't happen everywhere. And that was like, we felt the most at home when we were here the first time, because people were just genuinely like, looked at us and were like, you don't know where you're doing. Here,
Let me help you.
I'm gonna help you. Like, I'm gonna help you do the right things that you should be doing. So it's been, yeah, it was really cool.
My friend Nicole, who's from New Jersey, has been in town, which we need to talk about this in a second, because the reason she came into town is because she won Taylor Swift tickets. And so I was her Taylor Swift plus one. But the night before we went, we stopped by this bar that I used to be a regular at. It's called Magnolia Motor Lounge. If you're a misfit, you know about Mags. They moved. And so she hadn't been there. So I was like, let me just swing by. It's near my house now. Maybe we can like pop in and have a drink. You can see what it's all about. And it was like, there was a concert that night. It was earlier. No one was really around, but there was this other truck kind of pulled up there. And so I was like, looking, and I'm like, yeah, like it's not going to be worth our time. So we kept pulling up, and this truck rolled down his window and started talking to us a bit and about the bar and this, that, and whatever. And then after a little bit, she was like, how do y'all know each other? And I was like, oh, I don't know this man. And I was like, what is your name, man? And she was like, so y'all were just talking though. And I was like, yeah, we talk to people around here.
I think that, like, I mean, we've been to some places where that just doesn't happen. Like, we were in New York and nobody looks up. They're going from point A to point B, and genuinely, if you're in their way, they're not. Like, at one point, we looked lost and someone stopped, but like we were lost for like 15 minutes before somebody was like, "Oh shit,
God, I guess I gotta step in."
People, I gotta stop what I'm doing for my day. Whereas here, you wait to cross the street too long, and they're like, "Do you know where you're going? Do you need help? Like, can I?"
Even if you don't look lost, people are just like, what's going on? How's your day? Where are you headed?
Where are you from? Like, you're not from here. Yeah, it's completely different. Completely different.
Oh, I love Texas. Could you ever see yourself living here and or not in?
Scott's
I don't even
corner,
finish.
Like, shaking
I'm gonna finish the question. Yes.
Yeah. So like, here's the predicament. We have a niece and a nephew.
Yeah.
And like,
you're big love for those babies.
Yeah.
It's
so
big.
like, the coming, like, where we just being away for a month was hard. Like, the concept of doing that for a while was like, so we would never move here and permanently live in the States. That being said, we were talking about this earlier, for my business and for getting to meet people and collaborations and just content and the things that I do, it almost is a detriment to not be spending more time in the States, because there's just, everything's more diluted here. So it's, yeah, we ideally would be to like own property in the spaces that we love, that we could be essentially making money off of, but then use when we want to. And Texas would probably be one of those places. Yeah.
Listen, guys, we can have a business meeting later.
Yeah.
But here's my thought. Let's just all go in on a few properties in different places.
Yeah.
We just hop around.
And just do our thing.
Just do our thing.
Genuinely, like, that makes the most sense to me. Like, I can't.
Same.
I can't
honestly
be away.
Have been looking for opportunities to like even if I was looking at splitting rent with someone in Miami for a room with like 4 friends that we could just all use in and out, because I'm like, I can't be here 100% of the time and be as successful as I want to be. / also, I love to travel. And if there's ways to monetize it and enjoy
make it cheaper
life. Yeah.
And like, yes.
Exactly. Like do it the absolute best possible way.
And just make it structured. Like the concept that I could plan my year to be like, okay, I'm going to be in LA this month and I'm going to be like in Texas for this, like, and then plan my life around doing those things.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yes and no.
Yes,
we won't be a permanent resident in the United States, but I'm not opposed to riding out my length of time. I'm allowed to be here for every couple months and being like, obviously we love Nova Scotia, and July and August are like, it's hard to leave home when those are like the 2 most beautiful months of.
But hey, listen,
year.
I can come there.
Yes, you absolutely can come there. We
and
have a spare room.
I don't even need that.
Funny.
I just need a bathtub.
We don't own our own property in Nova Scotia, but I definitely foresee us owning owning a rental property before we own our own space, because we've just been enjoying traveling so much that it financially would just be more responsible for us to have a place in the places that we're going, and then figure out how to monetize that for another form of income.
Yeah.
Essentially.
So make a chart or a graph. Send it to me. I'm interested.
Yeah.
I got 5 on it. I'll buy a little something somewhere. Just let me know.
Scott's like,
yeah, okay, cool.
I'm already in. Scott's
really
like,
dead ass have been like looking for people.
Scott's like, here's
genius.
this folder that I've already made.
He's like, what's your email? I'll send you the Dropbox.
But yeah, so I think that, yes, we have loved seeing things, but it just can't be a permanent thing for me. I miss my nephew.
Of course.
Too much. Like
Would you be here-ish in Texas, you think? Like the Fort Worth area?
I mean, this is where I feel the best. Like
all
within
right, cool.
the
So then it's a yes.
And it's like relatively neutral to getting to other places that you need to be. Like,
it's great. You're in Central Texas, so it's like
it's like what, 4 hours is the furthest to Houston? Is it 4 hours? And then like 2.5 to Austin.
And there's this new thing called the Von Lane bus. And it goes from Fort Worth to Austin and back, and Fort Worth to Houston and back. And they call it private jet on wheels. I just post up. They gave me a Caesar salad. I went clickety-clack working on my iPad.
Yeah.
Took selfies.
So I like to find, like same thing when we were just in LA. Like we didn't stay in Hollywood. We didn't stay in West Hollywood. Like we stayed down on Venice Beach. And then if we needed to travel the hour into the city, then we did it. Because like I want to be somewhere where that makes my heart happy, and then the work can come when it comes and wherever I need to get to.
Yeah.
So, and I think but yeah, we haven't been to Houston yet, but we've been to Dallas and Austin. Austin was cool. Dallas is just like very similar. I shouldn't say similar because it's not. That's a lie.
Say what you mean.
I'm going to say similar to Nova Scotia, but it's not.
Oh, really?
No, not really. Like, I mean, like the downtown area, like Austin wasn't, I don't know. I liked Austin because it felt like more, I don't know how to like word that properly. I just felt more weird.
Yeah, it's funkier. It's more unique.
Yeah, like it felt more weird. It felt like there was like a lot of different people within that area. And then we love Fort Worth because like I love the history. Like
it's
I just
the
think
most
it's
Texas city in Texas.
I think it's so cool. And Dallas was neat, but Dallas is more like mainstream.
Yeah.
Like we stayed at like the Dallas Arts Hotel when we were there, and it was beautiful, but like that's not our jam.
Yeah,
like,
there's cool stuff. There's definitely cool stuff in Dallas, but like Fort Worth is just.
Yeah, I want to live. I want to live where my heart feels happy, and then I can travel to do the rest of it.
Exactly.
So like,
yeah. My heart is very happy here. My heart is also really happy on a yacht in the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I bet my heart could be super happy in Nova Scotia as well.
I bet you in July and August specifically. The rest of the time,
no, I bet my heart would be so unhappy.
Yeah,
it would be pissed.
But you would like July and August.
I can do that. Well, I love that you love it here. It makes me love you more, and I didn't know that was possible. So that's crazy.
We love it here.
Did you pick coming to Taylor Swift here because you love here, or was it just
we already booked? I booked this first. Like I booked coming to Fort Worth first.
Oh, you just were already coming back. You're like, I want some more at 817.
We just did not want our trip to be over. And then like Scott spent the entire month with me in LA going to like all of our events, doing all the things like for me. And I was like, fuck, we should probably go somewhere where like you can put your cowboy boots on the ground and like feel like they belong there. Cause he was wearing them, like he wears them everywhere now. Like he wore them for a full fucking day at Disney. Like he roped those cowboy boots in. So I was like, fine, I might as well like let you touch your boots in like Texas. Like
actual shit.
Where you like actually will feel good.
Put your shit kickers on so they can actually kick shit.
Yeah. So I was like, fuck it. I surprised him and like just booked the tickets. Cause I mean, technically home is this direction anyway. So it's like,
yeah, you're on your way.
Yeah. And it's actually cheaper to fly within the United States than it is to fly within Canada. So I was like, fine. And so I was like, we're going to go to Texas. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah, we're going to go to Texas till the 5th. And I was like, and also we're going to Taylor Swift. Because immediately what I do whenever I book us anything is I always search like concerts and events within the states that we're in. Because like again, I'm Canadian. Nobody comes to fucking Nova Scotia like to perform. Like no one's there unless you're going to a festival. And even still, like the only 2 festivals we have are Cavendish and YQM. Those are 2, and they're country festivals.
Oh,
but yeah,
you like that then?
Yeah. So, but like we don't. Otherwise, you're not getting anybody. Like Taylor Swift isn't putting Nova Scotia. Our stadium has 10,000 people in it. She sold out a fucking 80,000 person stadium. Like it's not worth
3 nights in a row.
It's not worth her time to come to Nova Scotia, and that's valid. So we always search it, and Taylor Swift popped up, and
you're like, yeah.
I was like, fine. So I bought, I say secondhand tickets, but I bought very inflated tickets, but they were sick, and it was incredible. Like she's a performer, and just like getting to hear her sing live. Selena Gomez was at the concert when we were there, which was crazy. Yeah, and Ethan Hawke.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so like everybody was like freaking out because of course Selena had to come out before the concert started, and was like in her little like they had like a little tented area that was covered so people couldn't see in, but you could. When you were walking to the bathrooms, you could see them.
Yeah.
But they had like police and security, obviously, separating it. But Selena brought her little sister, and like her little sister got like escorted up to the stage. And during one of Taylor's songs, Taylor like gave her hat, and it was cute.
Yeah. We would be like, we left the concert actually like a little bit early.
So did we.
Yeah, makes me feel a little bit better.
The newer album, like we were there to hear like the songs from like, I mean, we've been together since her very first album. So like we were there to hear like the newer songs, and like it made or break us we left 4 songs out. So we got to hear Anti-Hero, and then we were like, we're bouncing because
we're walking out at Anti-Hero. And that was like the one I was like, come on, like let's just stay for at least that one. But it's crazy because we were all the way at our car, which we parked not in like stadium parking, like across the street, like past the Panda Express. And we're standing there, and the street is still busy. There's cops, there's people and stuff. You can literally still hear the screaming of the people.
Yeah. It was so loud.
Yeah.
We were leaving, and I was like, this is, you could have just parked on the street and walked up and sat next to the stadium and heard the whole concert.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
I walked in, and I'm not a Swiftie, but how do you miss that concert? Like I still think she's an
People ask
icon.
me that question all the time. Are you a Swiftie? I'm like, no, because I know how invested Swifties are. I can't tell you that I'm a Swiftie.
I cannot identify to that level of obsession. It's not. I know. Yeah. I don't like myself as much as most of those people love Taylor Swift.
Yes.
So no, but that's still iconic. That's an incredible like concert.
Once in a lifetime.
I got the opportunity to go for free because we won the tickets legitimately.
Yeah.
And well, I didn't win them, but someone else did and invited me. But when I walked in, I had a like physical, like it was so loud that Nicole looked at me and she was like, if we need to leave, like I understand. Like I know that you're not okay right now. Like we can leave. And I was like, no, I'm okay. Like I think maybe I just need to like get used to it for a second. And she like went and got me earplugs, which they said they wouldn't give her.
There's a lot of people that had headphones and like
that they brought themselves probably. Yeah, that would have been smart. I thought about it as we were leaving and then forgot about it because I'm ADHD.
Yeah.
It was amazing. What was your favorite era? That was one of the questions in my question box for.
I'm a 1989 girl, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's like my favorite. But I mean, if I'm being honest, I'm a Taylor Swift era, like her very first country album. Like that's like what
Some teardrops on my guitar vibes.
Yeah, like that's what Picture to Burn,
Tim McGraw.
our song, Tim McGraw. Like that is like where our love for Taylor Swift happened, because like we were in like grade 10, 2006, talking on MSN, sharing Taylor Swift songs back and forth. So that's probably my favorite era, because that's how I got introduced to Taylor Swift. But 1989 is probably my favorite album.
I don't know that I have a favorite. I feel like I'm more of a cherry picker. What era would she say she was in when she was in the like black and red, and then one leg was
Reputation.
Yeah, I was digging Reputation.
Like that was her like villain.
Yeah, like, so then that's the one myself. I like.
Yeah,
and she's real sexy.
Yes.
I'm like the Reputation era.
She's so sexy. Like I genuinely like, I think too, like we grew up, like we were 16, she was 16. Like she was only, like we were only kids, but she came out on the stage at the beginning and was like flirting with the crowd without saying a single word. And I was like, I am like flustered right now, like flustered. And she just is so like, her talent, but just like how thoughtful she was. Like genuinely, when you walked into that stadium, there wasn't a seat that you could have been in that place where you couldn't have at least seen what was happening. Like the 2 giant screens facing both the sides are in all areas, plus the stage, which came all the way out and got higher for people. Like it was you could tell that she put a lot of effort in it to make sure that
it was accommodating for everyone. No matter where
you spent your money, you were going to be able to like see her, which was like, because that's not the case for everybody who performs, like genuinely not. And it was just, I can't even imagine. Like, I think she had like a couple beads of sweat on her head by her like 30-second song. And I was like, you were impressive.
I mean, the whole time Nicole and I were just like, how does a human, like she can't be human, right? Like, is she an alien? Like, who does that? Like,
the outfit changes?
The outfit. I went to, like I said, a lacrosse game last weekend, and I had to walk up the stairs to go to the bathroom once, and I had paused at the top of the stairs. they weren't long. It wasn't like a winding like this. It wasn't a giant stadium. It wasn't that stadium. It was just like 2 things of stairs, and I literally had to. And then I'm over here looking at Taylor Swift just like busting down with the bust down and in like high heel glitter boots.
I can't put pants on that fast.
I can't take pants off that fast.
A full blown jumpsuit.
No.
Like, and then
made of sequins.
Like, heels and like
pantyhose. Do you think she got to pee at any point?
I know. Like that's a long time.
And then like her hair.
Did she drink any water?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Was she hydrated? Anyways, whoever was taking care of her.
Incredibly done. She truly is like such a star. It's absolutely absurd.
Yeah.
And the girl I was with had been to several Taylor Swift concerts, is a Swiftie.
Yeah.
Can sit there and tell me the backstory to every single song, who she wrote this, like, and why, and where she was, and the color of her shirt, and all the things. And I'm like, I only have so much room in my brain. But she was like, I've never seen her more sexual at a concert before. Like, this is like
I feel like she was just extra confident. Like, it was like she knew what she was delivering and giving to people, and she was so confident in that. And I think that that's such a unique thing to like go through. Like, eras is just such a cool concept, because genuinely, when you have fans over that period of like literally our whole entire life, like, there are people who like fall in love with certain parts of your music and resonate with certain songs, or go through certain things where like specific songs really like help them get through things. And it's hard when you go to a new concert for a new album and you don't get to hear that music. So like eras is such a cool concept, because no matter
she's a genius
where you are in your Swiftiness, like you were gonna hear a song that you were going to be like in love with and was going to make you emotional listening to. And like, that was really cool. I didn't know about the Swiftie friendship bracelet thing. Did you know that that's a thing?
I didn't know about it.
So like, apparently Swifties make bracelets before the concert, and then they like trade them with other Swifties, which is what a sweet concept. And I saw a TikTok of a girl making her bracelets, and her boyfriend's helping her, and like it was a contrast between her bracelets and her boyfriend's bracelets, and her boyfriend's bracelets were like fuck John Mayer and like just hilarious ones, and then hers were like the cute ones. So a lady leans over and gives me this like cute little bracelet. And then I'm realizing that my arm is decked out in bracelets and she probably thinks that I have Swiftie bracelets. But these are like my swear word, my auntie, my self-love bracelets, and these are my Pandora ones. And I was like, fuck. Now I look like an asshole because I don't have any bracelets to
What
like
did you do?
give back to her. I just said thank you. Like
Thank you,
thank you, sorry. Like these ones, this is my auntie bracelet. I can't, I'm emotionally attached to these
give
ones.
those up.
I also just got my Pandora one, so I can't give those away either. Anyways, so if you're the person who gave me the bracelet at the Taylor Swift concert, thank you. I appreciate you. If you reach out to me, I will send you a bracelet. But
Just
it's
not
can't
one of
be
those.
these ones. But I truly love this. It's like the cutest little
She's still wearing it. I mean,
It's the
she's very
cutest
impacted
little
by that.
bracelet.
Has a little heart on
Anyways,
it.
really cute concept. I'm offended by the Swifties in my following that didn't think that I should know that.
Wow, guys.
They really left me hanging. It's fine.
I mean, nobody told me either. But
I'm just the bitch who didn't give the lady back a bracelet.
nobody even wanted to give me a bracelet. That makes you feel any better. But speaking of confident, I do think that Taylor is really stepped into this whole like, I like know who the fuck I am.
Yeah.
Y'all can keep talking about this stuff. You can do and say whatever. Like every time someone turns something on her, she's like, look what you made me do.
Yeah.
Like she is the epitome of something I like to prioritize in my life, which is profiting off my problems. Like anytime you serve her something that's an issue, she's like, hold on, let me make $1 million off of this.
Yep.
And I think it's so cool and creative. And maybe that too, like why confidence, we are so attracted to confidence that like you could kind of not even like her, but then end up being at her show. You know, like you might be the boyfriend or a friend that's dragged along and just such an incredible entertainer and so confident and so smart that you're like, even if you don't like her, you're like, damn it, I like her. Like, I respect this
how
girl.
could you
how
not
could you
respect
not?
it? Yeah, like literally, how could you not respect it? And I have like, she was just, she was mind blowing. Just she jumps into the stage at one point. Like, are you fucking kidding me? And like swim, it was crazy.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was.
But that's also probably why people adore us so much too. Is just because like we're so confident.
Yeah. I am at a point right now that like protecting my peace is very important to me. And I would say I'm definitely in my reputation era at this point. Like I'm on my, not my villain era, but like I'm going to be not quiet about like protecting me and my family and the thing and the hard work that I put in. Like, yeah. Like I think
I love that era. I live in that era. It's my only era.
It's I think that is the most confident era that like I prioritized my mental health in March. We moved to LA for the month. It's the best I've ever felt. It's like I'm not letting anybody fuck with that. Like I've worked hard to be able to do that. Like I got to fly my siblings and my nephew to LA so that we could go to Disneyland. Like we stayed in like the sickest suite. Like we got to, and I'm just like, I've worked really hard to be able to afford that, to like be able to do that for the people that I love. And like, there's nothing cooler than that in the entire world. When you're like meeting people at Disneyland who are telling you that you helped change their life, all while your nephew is experiencing meeting fucking Lightning McQueen for the first time. And it's like,
and because of the people that are telling you, you changed my life, they're the reason that you get to be there.
It's crazy.
It's
like
wild.
It's just like a full circle moment. And like, it's so to genuinely go from like having to put things back at the grocery store, not being able to pay rent, not having a cell phone for months, to like saying, I'm taking you to Disneyland. Like that's a mind fuck. And like also genuinely the coolest and most confident that I've ever felt. Like I always believed and would joke about how like I'm supposed to be doing something bigger. Like I'm supposed to be talking to people. I'm supposed to be helping people feel good about themselves. And then when this happened, I was like, okay, this is it. Like, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And then once you find that, like, there's nothing that can really, at this point, get in the way of me continuing to do that. So I think this last month of just like prioritizing my mental health and like taking a step in the direction of getting back to like creating content that I love and not allowing like my depression to be in charge and not allowing the people who don't want me to be successful to be in charge was like a really empowering month. And then now I'm ready to just make sure that going forward that I get to continue to do the cool things that I'm doing, that I get to continue to like help people fall in love with themselves, and no one is going to be in my way anymore.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. It's a very cool era to be living in.
You're living in a cool era.
Yeah, it's a very cool era to
You're
be
living in the I get to love myself and inspire other people to love themselves era.
And not let you fuck with me.
And you're not going to fuck with her. And guess what? You're not going to fuck with me either. We're done getting fucked with. Okay?
Yeah.
It's over. It's over. The fucking with us is over.
Yeah.
I love that for us.
I do.
I especially love it for you.
Yeah. No, I think it took a long time to get to the point where like we've been told like don't talk about it, ignore it, like pretend like it's not happening, like don't share how you're feeling. And like
we signed up. We signed up for this, so we're like supposed to be okay with the fact that people are awful.
Yeah, and I think too like
that's not okay. That's not the case.
I'm doing two things can be true at once. The job that I'm doing can give me lots of privilege. It can be incredible. It can bring me a lot of joy, but that doesn't also change the fact that along with it comes a lot of really tough days, a lot of really horrible people. And like those two things can exist and both be valid. Mm-hmm. I can love what I do. I can be doing something that puts me in spaces that I never imagined ever be doing, but I can also be not okay with the horrible things that are being said to me and done to me on the other side of it. And like, that's okay. And I thought I had to put up with this. Like, you should be able to accept it because that's part of what you do. And like, now I'm at a point where I can expect it, but that genuinely doesn't mean I have to accept it. Like, I can expect for it to come. And I think that's important for any content creator, is to expect that will be a part of having a platform. But we're done accepting it as a part of the platform. Like, I'm not. When would you ever look at somebody that you loved and say you should accept the abuse that you're receiving?
Right.
Never.
Thank you.
Never in a million years would you look at someone who you love who's telling you that they're being abused or belittled or bullied and say, well, that's a part of it.
Well, it's kind of a part of it. So just ignore it.
You just got to deal with it. And it's like,
read it and walk it off.
I would never say that to anybody. So why am I allowing for myself to like suffer in silence with what's been happening and what continues to happen to me? And I'm tired of the internet being a hiding space for people. And if you're expecting me to be more authentic online, if you're expecting me to be my real self online, if you're expecting me to be learning and growing and developing and like including everybody and being if you're expecting all of these things from me, then I get to expect respect in my workplace. Like, I get to expect that people either respect me or they don't watch my shit.
Yeah, like, and also like if you're expecting, which I think we're very similar in that regard of people come to our pages for just realness,
joy,
raw
entertainment.
Like, we're not going to sugarcoat shit. It's just going to be a fun time. Like, we are who we are, whatever. So if you're coming to my page and you want that vibe and you want that authenticity, then you better be prepared for me to call your ass out if you do something that is disrespectful, rude, inappropriate, or crosses the line. You don't get to get away with it just because you only have 412 followers and I have 250,000. Yes. Life doesn't work that way.
Yeah. And I hate that. Like, there's such a double standard when it comes to those things. Like, if you say it in a public space, then you say it in a public space. And if you're going to try to shame me publicly, then I'm going to post you publicly because we're on a public platform. Mm-hmm. Like, that's how this works. And you're not protected just because there's no such thing as anonymity on the internet. And I think people need to be like very understanding of that, is that I have the time, I have the resources. Mm-hmm. And
I will very much Kim Kardashian the shit out of a lot of stuff right now. I have more time. I have more money. I have more support. And I have more resources, and I will figure this shit out. And you're going to have a bad day.
I was afraid to share with my following that like I was going through it or that these things were happening to me, because I am a space of like, I hope, joy, laughter, and like realness, but at the same time, like, I know you don't come to my page to hear about the shitty things that are being said about me, but like that is my reality. So I think when I first shared that like this stuff was happening and that like I wasn't gonna take it anymore, I thought people were gonna be like, that's not why I'm here. Like, don't worry. But like it was very contrary to what's in my DMs right now. Like, no, let's talk about it. Let's put this, like, I would never tell my kid to ignore it. Why would I ever tell you to ignore it? So I think the world
people
is,
that love you get it. And the majority of the people that I think are on our pages do love us and support us and can get behind the fact
I
that,
also
look,
think they just don't understand the severity. Like, that's the other thing, too. Like, they don't understand the severity. Like, when you're telling me to ignore it, you're telling me to ignore Ethan, who's 16 and called me a fat pig on a photo. You're not realizing that it's not just Ethan. Like, these are people with time and a delusion that just is unmatched, that I'm worried about my safety. Where
when people are like, oh, just block them. And I'm like, okay, I have. And then
this
guess
is the
what?
40-second account they've created.
And guess what? They got my phone number. And guess what? They got my address. And guess what? They showed up at my house. Like, don't tell me to ignore it when
it can escalate.
It escalates to that point. So I think that even the people who mean well and say, like, ignore it, and, like, I don't think it comes from a malicious standpoint when people tell me to ignore it. I think what they're trying to say is, you're worth more than that. That's not a conversation you deserve to be having. I just genuinely think that they don't realize that, like, it's not just one person. And, like, sometimes it's one person, like, we were talking about this earlier, and you find the DMs and, like, they've wished death upon me. Like, they are literally saying things in my DMs that are so unhinged that if I saw this person in public, I would be scared for my life. Oh, absolutely.
And it's like, how do you ignore it? You wouldn't ignore that. If somebody said those things to me in public. If
somebody was standing right in front of you going, you're a waste of oxygen.
I would call the police.
I want you to die. I would push you off a bridge. Like, you wouldn't be like, all right.
Oh, just ignore it.
I'm just going to ignore that.
No big deal.
Like, no, what the fuck?
And, like, I do understand, like, I get it where it comes from, and I'm empathetic to the standpoint of why people think, like, anonymous is, like, a thing, because it used to be, and I just don't think we're not in that space anymore. You don't get to come to the internet to, like, take out all your problems on the people that you don't feel are human anymore. Like, I'm a human being that, like, has feelings and bad days and tough days and struggles with my mental health, and like that shit impacts me. And like, so I think it's I think I'm in my, like, definitely in that era.
Good. And what's great is we already answered a question that someone asked, which is, what is your biggest social media icks? And I would say right now that's probably,
for sure, that's, like, I think my biggest one is just the dehumanizing people on the internet, and I'm guilty of it. We're all guilty of it. But social media is changing. And I think that with all of the really cool, authentic creators that have come out through the pandemic, and the fact that people were just tired of seeing these curated lives, that we're getting to a point where we're having better conversations and we're moving in a better direction with it. It's just to be the first group of social media people to, like, really trudge through, like, taking legal action and having those conversations and fighting. Like, we don't have an HR as social media, like, as influencers and content creators.
We are our help.
Like, we don't have, when you're at work and somebody abuses you, you have an HR that you can go to that has your back, that helps you take the right steps to make sure that you're protected. Like, content creators don't have that.
I just call my mom and cry.
Literally. Like, it's just one of those things, like, we don't have that support. So learning how to be that for ourselves and understand that, like, obviously I'm not perfect and I'm learning and growing, but I don't deserve to, like, be abused while I'm doing that. So that's definitely a pretty big ick of mine. Or the people that'll be like, oh no, you're making ads. Though that stuff kills me too, because I think a lot of it comes from, like, being uneducated in a sense of, like, what my job actually is. Like, I don't just, like, get a product and make an ad. Like, I get a product, I meet with a brand, we come up with a concept, I film it, I edit it, I find the right music for it, I caption it. Like, there's more. Like, if I told
people think that they're like, oh, you just get a product in the mail and then you hold it up and you take a picture and then you post it and you get paid $12,000. And I'm like, no.
I use that. I'm using the products for
get the product
before
gotta try it.
Yeah, because I'm not going to sell you something that I don't personally use myself.
Because then if you do that, which I've had a lot of friends do that, and guess what? they don't work here anymore.
Yeah, because it says, and it's not.
Because then people don't trust you. They're like, oh, I bought this product and it's trash, and now I can't trust you. Granted, there's always going to be something that I like and somebody else doesn't.
Yes, for sure.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
But like, there's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah, I mean, if I told you that I was an editor for somebody who created content, you'd be like, oh, okay.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Like if I told you that I'm somebody who
there's like branding concepts for
I meet with marketing
for a brand
teams for like to help brands come up with their marketing concept, you'd be like, oh, cool. But like I'm doing all of that.
Yeah, if you say, oh, I'm a model for this brand, like, oh wow, that's cool.
But I'm doing all
but
of that.
You do it all.
I'm doing that. Yeah. So
all the things. You write it all.
Yeah. So I think there's like this stigma again from past experiences with past influencers or content creators that have been in this world that have kind of broken the trust for a lot of people that like don't genuinely realize how much time and effort and passion I genuinely put into like the brands that I work with and meeting the people that are behind those brands and the concepts that we work on. And like, there's more to it than me just finding an ad and posting it. Like there's an effort and a job and time and sure, do I get the privilege of being able to kind of do that from other places, and do I get to do cool things because of the job?
Absolutely.
100%, but I do work hard.
Yeah, I work really hard.
I work really hard, and I share 99.9% of my life on the internet. So there's other things that I don't have that a lot of other, like privacy. And
the privacy
just
thing.
like all those things. And I love sharing my life and I love getting to meet people and I love that part of it. But I just, that's definitely my two biggest icks. Like the dehumanizing of people on the internet, and then
like invalidating
the work
that we do.
That I genuinely am doing in the space. And I think that's why it's important to talk about it, because a lot of people don't genuinely realize the amount of effort that a lot of us, and I will go on a limb and say the most of us content creators, especially those living in like the authenticity space, are actually putting into the work that we're doing and working with brands that love and respect us and the people that are within our platform. And so those are probably my two biggest icks.
I would say the same.
Yeah.
And I would say like an ick that continues on for me is the fact that I let that whole stigma of like, oh, I'm an influencer and I don't even have a real job and I'm just this like girl with an Instagram. Like I will sometimes like lead with that as if like a self-preservation or like self-deprecating. Like I'm just going to make fun of my job before you have the opportunity to, when in all actuality, I'm like incredibly smart, creative, funny, like come up with great content, like have worked my ass off for 7 years to be able to get to one where I used to had to say no to brands that I didn't want to because money, and now like I'm busy enough that I
can say
no to brands easily. And it's like I've worked for a long time to get to where I'm at now, to still have this same stigma that I don't think that I work hard enough because it's projected on us so much. So I even know. And I'm like, girl, you're a badass. You're good at your job. You do this, and this. And then someone's like, so what do you do for a living? And I'm like, I'm like a content creator. I literally get smaller.
Yeah.
That is so not me.
I think it's, again, obviously it's like the stigma that comes along with it. The way people like, let's not forget that like we pay millions and millions of dollars to be entertained. It's like entertainment is a massive industry in the world. Everybody needs to be entertained. Yeah. Every single person on the planet needs to have a safe space to go. I think the moment that really like solidified it for me was having a conversation about like the validity of my job and somebody questioning that and being like, well, you don't really do work. And then through the pandemic, I was getting messages and messages and messages from nurses and doctors and people in these positions of high respect and admiration by general public being like, but after a tough day, like you're where I went to. Like after a hard day, you're where I was going. And it really added this sense of validity to me to realize that like every job, no matter how much you respect it or don't, has a place, and entertainment has a place literally everywhere, all over the world. So when you're creating these like humorous, kind spaces that make people feel good, those people that you have the utmost respect for, that have gone to years of school, at the end of their day, they're coming to my space
Yeah.
to watch me, to feel good about themselves so that they can go back to work the next day and be happy and have the joy that they deserve to have. And like, I don't know, that made me feel really cool. Like it was a nurse downtown Halifax when we were out for a walk, and she just was like, you got me through the pandemic with like your comedy and your relationship and how you made me feel. And I'm thinking like, you're a nurse through the pandemic. Like
you got
you literally got us through it. And she's like, yeah, but like at the end of the day, like when you've had a rough day and things are shitty and you've had to like see things you're not used to seeing, like you want an escape, and like your page was where I went to. And it's like, it's a lot of like responsibility. So I think since that conversation, it really reminded me that like entertainment in itself, and as a content creator, not only are we doing the marketing, the editing, the like posting, and yeah, that's the ad part of our job, but my space and sharing my life is an escape for a lot of people, and it helps people either laugh at the end of the day or find love in themselves where they can't. And like, I think that's pretty cool. Like I think that's
I mean, my whole purpose in life is just to make people laugh, you know, on their
have better sex.
And have better sex.
Yeah.
Love themselves more, laugh more, have better sex with their partners and with themselves.
Yep.
And, you know, and maybe figure out just learn from my mistakes.
Yeah.
So that you don't have to. You probably will still fuck up. It's kind of like but if I could save at least a couple people from doing the dumb shit I did, I think that would be great. And making people feel normal. Like, yes, I too am very, very mentally ill and struggle so much. Yeah. And
it's an important conversation to be having. So I get them feeling small because that's what people, but like when you're having conversations with people who make you feel big, and I think that's
I have
crazy.
Those. I have so many people that, I mean, I had a girl come up to me at the bar yesterday, and she like knows a few of my friends, and or whatever day it was. I don't even know what today is. And she's like, I've been following you for a long time. And she's like, I've seen you out and about. And like, I enjoy following you. You're just so real. And I just think you're so beautiful and so fun. Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, we have like mutual friends. And but she literally was just like, I just enjoy following you. You make me laugh, and you just seem like a real person. And then when I see you out, you're the same person that you're like online. And those conversations can make the whole go kill yourself thing just like
wish you were dead, you fat pig. Like those things.
So much. I'm like, whatever. I can handle that then.
Yeah. So this is your reminder that if you do see content creators that you love out and about,
talk to them.
Please say hi.
Please say hi.
Genuinely, like there's nothing fucking cooler than that. Like, I don't care what anybody says, I'm still a kid. Like, when somebody recognizes me and wants to talk to me, I'm like, this is so cool. Like,
I know. And I'm like, we obviously have so much in common because, like, you're a huge fan of me and, like, I'm a huge fan of me. So, like, right off the bat,
yes, we're in love.
We have a lot in common.
Very big common interest.
Exactly.
But it just makes us feel like it gives us the validity. Like, I think
it makes me feel like I'm good at my job.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, you've come across my Instagram somehow, looked at it, figured it out. Like, I think I'm going to stay here. I think I like this. Stuck around enough to be engaged, remember what I look like, see whatever, then see me in person and feel comfortable enough to me to approach me. And like, then that means I've done all the things right in my job.
Yeah.
To make you feel comfortable to come say hi to me. And like, it's bliss.
Yes. Always say hi. It means a lot.
Mm-hmm. I love hugging you.
Yes.
I love hugging you.
So much.
Let's hug.
Always.
Well, I love that. So someone asked in the Q&A box how we became friends. And the short answer is Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
The long answer is still Instagram, but like how I don't remember. I think we just found each other through Sarah. Yeah,
she's been a
people together.
She has been a pinpoint of a lot of really great people in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys have matching tattoos.
We have matching tattoos.
Yeah.
So you want to get one today, or?
So here's the hilarious thing. She would kill me if I got it without her too. She would kill it. But that's kind of how that happened. And like, I am a firm believer when you meet good people, like you should be surrounding yourself with those people, and then anybody that they vouch for, you just trust, that. That's like how I've met a lot of the really cool people in my life. And so I think that it was Instagram first. And if I'm being very honest, like I don't watch reality TV. So when I originally like found out who you were and found your platform, it was because of other people had vouched for you. It had nothing to do with the fact that you had been on
Like,
reality TV.
yeah.
Like that wasn't it for me. And then I think it was my mother, who is like an avid fan of like Big Brother and like all those spaces, was like, wait, Elena follows you? And I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, like friend of a friend. She was like, this is so like, it's kind of cool how that was like worlds like collided. But yeah, I think it was definitely like Sarah. And then the world of Instagram and just like DMing each other like in all capital letters, like, you're hot.
Like, wait, I'm obsessed with you.
Yeah, I love what you're doing.
Like, well, hey, I know that you don't know me, but you want to be my best friend?
Yeah. Do you want to be friends?
I'm bold.
Yeah, me too.
I find something I like and I'm like all in.
That's how I made Sarah my friend. That's how I continued to make everybody my friend.
That's how I made Sarah my friend. That's how I made Bailey my friend. That's how I made you my friend. I mean.
Yeah, I am unforgiving about it. So
if I want something, like, listen.
Especially people.
Yeah.
Good people and people who make you laugh. And like, I think too, as a content creator, like, I need to find like my entertainment and my safe spaces online too. And like,
same. Like, you make me laugh. I like going to your page and laughing.
And you give me like this sense of like lowering down like my filter and not being as like, you know, restricted with the things that I say and like being more confident in like my sexuality and having those conversations. Cause like I live in a space where I think specifically for me and my platform, I live in a space with a lot of women who are uncomfortable and people who are uncomfortable with their bodies and just like learning to love their bodies. And like obviously self-pleasure was like a huge avenue for me to learn how to like love myself, literally love myself, and then like what to expect from my partner and how to communicate that. So I think like in my space, it became really important for me to be open and honest and have those conversations, and like listening to you have those conversations so unapologetically like made it a lot easier for me to be like, yeah, we're talking about this here. Like, I really don't care how awkward you think this is. Like, you deserve to be having orgasms every time you have sex. So like, you deserve to know what you want and you deserve pleasure regardless of how you feel about your body and like the space that you're in. So like, again, Instagram and like being in those spaces, like I think too, like I have a lot of respect for my friends on the internet because we just help each other all the time. Like I'm consuming content on a regular basis that makes me feel a little bit more confident and a little bit more safe in my space. And again, a lot of people who are not afraid to like be authentic and be themselves online, which I just think is not what I had when I was a kid.
Yeah. God, could you imagine like if we had people like us? I say that sounds vain for me to say. Can you imagine if I had someone like you when I was a kid to watch?
Talk about yourself. Like, genuinely.
Also you're right. No, like, I'm awesome.
Yes, talk about yourself. Because like I genuinely think that the coolest people are the people that become the people they wish they had when they were kids. And like I needed me when I was 22 and I was struggling with my body. I needed somebody to be like, yeah, you're fat, but like you're still capable of things. Like, yeah, you're fat, but like you don't have to go to the gym and be miserable. Yeah, you're fat, but like you can still apply for jobs and do really cool things. Like that has nothing to do with who you are. Instead, I was 22 looking and consuming things that told me I was invalid as a fat person. And I made a lot of mistakes and I did a lot of damage to my body. And I am a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. Do I think that I might not be in the same position now as I was if I known those things then? Like, maybe not. But like, do I think it's cool that a fucking 60-year-old wrote a letter and called me your hero? Like, are you kidding? Like
that's
Scott
amazing.
has to tie my shoes sometimes. Like I'm too lazy to do that, and I'm someone's hero. So it's like it's the truth, and like it's genuinely so impactful to realize that there is
you are so many people's heroes.
There's
not
so
just
much
that
power
one.
in being yourself, because that's just all people are looking to do every day. All people are looking to do is feel valid in who they are. And we're not getting that by like watching people curate their lives and only sharing the good and not talk about being sick and not talking about struggling. Like we're not getting anywhere with that.
Yeah.
The majority of people don't fit in the beauty standard box. The majority of people are suffering. The majority of people are struggling. And when we continue to not talk about that, we make people who are struggling feel invalid in their struggle when we're the majority, not the minority in that conversation.
Exactly.
And like, I think it's super important and cool to like be the person to be like, no, you're valid. Like, I didn't think I was, but I'm telling you right now, like you fucking are.
The most like special and amazing I feel is when I know that I'm like someone's safe space, that like they're coming to me to tell me something because they know that there is only love that they'll receive, that like there's no judgment, that like I make them feel like more comfortable to be themselves and more confident in who they are and their uniqueness. It's like that shit makes me horny. Like that's my top peak happiness moments in life, is getting to know that like I've had any sort of positive impact on someone and making them laugh and love themselves more.
Just like get to feel themselves. Like the world is going to be a whole lot cooler of a place 10 years from now with the content creators that are out there that are being authentic and having real conversations and making people feel valid in who they are, because you thrive in your life when you're confident in yourself and you're doing the things for you and not somebody else. And like, just imagine 10 years from now.
Actually, what an incredible thought, because if you do think about the fact that we've never been in a space where like this much normalcy has control over media. And it not control, but at least has the platform. Like 10 years ago when we needed this kind of stuff, we only had Victoria's Secret, you know, fashion shows and, you know, health
America's
magazines.
Next Top Model,
and
when size 4s were fat. Like
exactly. And now there's actually a really good chance that like the future children are going to have like this arena of things that can look completely different based on not actual mainstream media, but actual normal human beings taking advantage of platforms they have and
being the faces of products that people are using. Like we're not talking about a Neutrogena skincare ad that has Jennifer Aniston in it, who like can pay for the most expensive product. Like you're talking to me, who didn't develop a skincare routine until she was 31 years old, who loves Tula products, who's sharing them on skin that isn't always perfect, that does have blemishes. Like this is my number one pet peeve. Fucking Fructis hair shampoo. Is it Fructis? Is that a brand? Fructis. Maybe it's a Canadian brand.
Fructis.
Yes.
Garnier Fructis.
Garnier. Yes. Okay. We'll go Garnier. Okay. We're gonna say Garnier. Okay. And then the ad comes on the television, and it's fucking Mandy Moore, and she's washing her hair with Garnier that she got at a Shoppers or like a CVS.
Yeah.
I'm like,
no, you didn't.
No.
You didn't.
No.
Because I'm going to tell you something.
You're not coloring your hair with a Garnier box of color either, okay? You're not doing that. Maybe on a Saturday, but you're not using. Maybe you might be a normal enough human that you're walking by something at CVS, you decide you want to change, you do it once. Not enough to be paid for it in an ad, in my opinion.
I would never.
No.
I wouldn't ever.
No.
So like if
that's what our ads were. Our ads were celebrities who are living these curated perfect lives, who share nothing about who they truly are. And don't get me wrong, this is not anything this is the era that Jennifer Aniston and Mandy Moore and all of those celebrity women grew up in, that they were the endorsers for all of these products. But they weren't using those products.
No.
How cool is it to be in the era now that you're actually seeking your information from real people who are really using the products, who aren't going to necessarily, well, I mean, I'm sure there are bad people out there, but I'm not going to lie to you about it.
Yeah, we're not friends with those ones.
If I'm endorsing it, I'm endorsing it because I like it. And like, I just think that that's like a big change, and that's something that we all fell like victim to as kids. Like you're watching the television and it's like, oh, Mandy Moore uses this boxed hair dye, so I'm going to use this $13 box hair dye. Meanwhile.
And then who's spending $1,300 a week later trying to get their hair fixed?
Yeah. So it's one of those things that like, I think that it's different now. Like we don't, celebrity endorsements and those types of things. And like people are actually sharing their lives. That's why I like Lizzo. And I say that because there are a lot of celebrities who don't put themselves out there because they don't have to. Like, there's lots of musicians that don't share every part of their life, that don't talk about what it is to like be in the spotlight and have those conversations. Like Jennifer Aniston isn't sharing her everyday life all of the time, the things she's eating, like the restaurants she goes to, like, but then you have Lizzo who shares everything.
It all.
Yeah. And like, I have a lot of respect for that because like doesn't need to. She doesn't need to.
She's seen a picture of me once.
Oh.
And said I was cute.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you put that in your bio? Lizzo said I'm cute?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a claim to fame there.
I know.
I got to meet her at South by Southwest. Yeah.
So jealous. Because you got to
for Watch Out for the Big Girls.
Yes.
Yeah, for South by Southwest. And she just
was she so nice? Did she tell you were cute?
She was so nice. She was so kind. She like made sure she said hello to every single person that was there.
My dream.
She's so tall. I'm also really short.
I know. I feel like people forget how short we are. Or at least they do for me.
I think we're both very loud, and sometimes that comes across as like we have
energy.
that big, yeah.
People think I'm like almost 6 foot tall.
And then people are like, wow, you're 5'2". Okay.
That's actually a question on here as well as who of us is taller. And I think it's you by maybe like half an inch.
Yeah.
1 inch maybe.
But I love meeting people that are just as tiny as I am. But yeah, Lizzo was incredible.
She's the best.
Yeah,
she's just the best.
She was authentic and genuine. And again, I think that that's a different era of like celebrity. Like we're getting to see the real side of what she's going through, the things she faces, like her body image, like the show she created. Like it just is like a cooler stance. And that's not what we got when we were kids.
Yeah. And she's creating a line of clothes for her body type and everybody's body type.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I have a lot of respect for people who are in positions like that choose to like share their life and open that up because you don't have to. We
kind of have to if we want to be successful.
Well, like that's part of who we are.
It's part of the vibe. But.
And like, I just think that like there's a lot of like, I mean, there's a lot of celebrities like that don't share their life, that don't open themselves up to that don't like, that are real human beings. And I think that that's where a lot of that like pedestal and dehumanization comes from.
That's why I love Selena too, because she's just
having conversations, so being real, sharing
mental health. Like, she's from here.
Is she?
Yeah.
I did you tell me that? Yeah. She was at the concert and it was like, crazy. But I didn't realize she was from Texas. But yeah, so I think that there's so much power in sharing our story. And I think that when we grew up, there were a lot of celebrities that were endorsing things, but not sharing the realities of their life and the things that they've gone through and like who they are. Like, and that's not their fault. That's the time that they grew up in. That's what was expected of them. We wanted to see the good. We wanted to see the lavish. We wanted to see the life that we could like strive for.
That's how the Kardashians got.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, we want to watch.
We
it's
created
interesting.
them. We created them. We told them they had to follow every trend. We told them they had to look a certain way. We told them that they needed to only show us the good. And then now we're expecting them to not show us that. And I think that that's like cool. And I think we created that. That was just a part of society at the time. So I think it's cool to be a part of that other side of it. Like where
we're really changing the world.
Are we?
Is it us?
I like to think that I've changed someone's path in life by like allowing them to be themselves. Like
you've changed my path in life.
I don't know what that looks like. And I think that we undervalue those little interactions. And like it's such like when you're saying that, I want to make myself feel small there to be like, but like I think that we underestimate how impactful every interaction that we have on a regular basis is to the people that we love, to the strangers that we meet, and luckily for us, we have platforms where we can be a little bit more like bigger with who we're impacting and who we're having conversations with, but like be nicer to your fucking waitress. Tip the people who are doing cool things for you that, might be struggling to get by. Say kinder things to the people that you love. Thank people for being in your life. Like those interactions seem so small, but like that's what my whole entire
game changer.
That's what my whole entire platform is based off of now, is telling people that they're valid and who they are, that they're loved, and that they should love themselves. And like the world would be a better place if we just were like that.
Just like a little nicer.
Yeah, just like a lot.
Just like, just like every once in a while, just like
Say thank you.
Just like be respectful and like kind to people.
Yeah. And understand that like you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea and that's okay. But like you're important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
That's why we follow Alicia, people. That's why we follow her. And if you don't follow her, you're wrong and you're about to fix that now. Tell the people where they can follow you.
On Instagram or TikTok at Alicia Mccarvell.
Yes. And that'll be in the show notes probably because I have a Madeline.
Woo! We love this. Like, this is fancy. So proud of you. This is very cool.
Okay, so final little miscellaneous podcast moment is, what's your most recent mishap?
I started my period on the airplane on the fucking way to LA and I put my cup in my suitcase and not my carry-on.
That's a mishap.
Just bled through everything because I'm a fucking moron.
That's a mishap.
Yeah, that was probably the biggest mishap too of this whole trip because literally I am Nix-It. Nix-It cup. I've used it now for 2 years. It has changed my life with my relationship with my period. I didn't put it on my carry-on. I packed it in my fucking suitcase and then I'm like 6,000 feet in the air starting my period. In like, anyways, about to like, oh God,
that's tough.
Anyways, I'll give that's a mishap.
That's a mishap.
That was a big, and there's no way I'm putting a tampon in. So then I had to wait to get my suitcase to get my.
Did you just do the like pile up a bunch of toilet paper
to like keep? Yeah. Yeah,
she loved that.
Because that's where I'm at. I'm sitting in first class, bleeding through my pants. But I won't put a tampon in. I'm done with those.
No more
We're
tampons.
Not going back to our shitty exes anymore. We're not doing that.
I agree with you on that. Tampons are a no-go.
Oh no, tampons are just now. And I used to like the cardboard tampons. Those used to be that's what my mother used. So when I started my period, that's what I used. And I've just always liked them. It's just always been my thing. And then now I stick a cup in there and I can go for 8 hours. And it's
Cups are great.
It's literally a game changer. And my cup you can have sex in.
That's amazing.
My cup you can have sex with it. So for all my period girlies who are hornier while they're on their period and have to suffer through or might still choose to. Like where I never did when I was on my period. Now that I have my cup, it's like mess-free.
Mess-free sex.
Mess-free period sex.
Wow. And it doesn't get in the way. It's not uncomfortable at all?
No, it like sits up right underneath your cervix. And like, I mean, everybody's built different. So like.
Totally.
But I don't notice it.
Awesome. Do you notice it? Nope. He says no.
Yeah. So. I mean, it's just everybody's different, and obviously our bodies are built different, but it allows period sex, and I think that's cool.
Guys, make sure to pack your period cups on your carry-on.
In your carry-on.
Just have one in your purse. You know, like don't make the same mishap that Alicia made. Okay.
Yeah. Are you gonna just let me be the only person?
Yep, I was.
You were trying to finish on that. You were trying to finish on that note.
Okay, so my mishap is, oh man,
squirting water in your eye before the podcast.
Yes, that. Thank you. You know my mishap. I was so thirsty. I was running a little late this morning.
I'm grateful you were running late. So was I.
Okay, good. Thank goodness. So our mishap leads to. I was a little late because
we're a lot of late
for my own podcast because I didn't have time to eat. And then I meant to grab a drink when I left the house. And then I forgot. And then I was like, oh, I bet they'll have water at this cool new fancy studio that I have. And Madeline was like, yeah, they have a water fountain. And I was like, okay, I remember those. I bet I can figure that out. And I could not figure it out. It quite literally, me not being dramatic at all. And I wasn't leaned over. Like it came up and just right in the eye, just right in my right eye. And so I probably should have put my sunglasses on for this episode, but
it's okay. We bonded.
Yeah, it's real. It's real. This is realness, people. Sometimes I try to drink water and I didn't even get any water. At that point, I was like, this was a fail. I
don't deserve to be hydrated.
No, I went to the bathroom, I like wiped up my eye and I like looked at the water fountain again and I was like,
no.
I'll be fine. I've been through worse.
Okay.
Anyway, love that. Thanks for being on the podcast finally. Thanks for your patience for being on the podcast finally.
I feel like this was worth it.
It was worth it. It was meant to be. It literally all came together perfectly.
Yeah, I'm very happy to be here. I'm proud of you. This is exciting.
Thank
This
you.
is so cool.
Like, rate, review, subscribe. Follow us both on Instagram, Elena Davies, at Alicia Mccarvell, and then all my shit's
I would
linked
like to
in my
know
bio.
other people's mishaps too. So if you listen to this,
Yeah, will you
slide
please?
into my DMs and tell me your mishaps.
Yeah, and also mine. And also, feel free to give us a little ring-a-ding-ding at 817-767-3996. Is that right?
Hang on.
So you struggled through that.
Okay, sorry. Will you say that one more time, Madeline?
Yes. Hang on.
Call us.
Yes, at 817-767-3996.
That.
Freak on.
Okay. All right. Alicia, you're a star. You're a queen. I love you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you
Scoot
for having me.
over there, not featured.
The silent, handsome type.
The silent,
Corner.
handsome cowboy over there. Everybody, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for complimenting us. Follow us both on Instagram. Continue to engage in our content in a positive way. And I will see you bitches next Tuesday.